What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. And Extreme Rules is just days away, and with 6 matches announced, including 5 title matches, what are we all gonna expect? Well, join us now as WrestleMania looks at shocking rumors you need to know about 2021's Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 1, why is there only one stipulation match for Extreme Rules? Now, Extreme Rules is looking to be anything but extreme, as the WWE's traditionally stipulation-heavy pay-per-view has just one stipulation announced so far, and we've waited until after the 20th September Raw to announce that the Universal Championship match between Reigns and the Demon would be an Extreme Rules match. Ringside News reported before Monday night's announcement that we were able to confirm that there was no creative meeting on Sunday, but no stipulations were nailed down as of the last meeting. Obviously, this will be a decision that they need to make. A tenured member of the creative team remarked that nobody should be surprised that the WWE hasn't nailed down any stipulations for Extreme Rules yet. On a brighter note, the WWE has booked 6 matches already, which suggests some planning has gone into the actual pay-per-view, other than the usual booking of Reigns defeating another opponent to continue his build, in this case Finn Balor's Demon character, which has only lost once. Short of Mr. McMahon deciding to go Looney Tunes and booking some off-the-wall stipulations like last year's Eye for an Eye match and the Wyatt Swamp match, fans will likely see 2, maybe 3 stipulation matches such as a cage match or tables match. In all honesty, the triple threat match for the US Championship should be a ladder match. That would be incredible. Number 2, more inter-brand build-up. And one thing to watch out in for Sunday's show is whether the WWE teases any more inter-brand crossovers like the 20th September Raw, where the Bloodline battled a New Day and Bobby Lashley threw down with Roman Reigns. According to WrestleVote, fans could be seeing more crossovers. They tweeted, "Some chatter I heard over the weekend included how important tonight's Raw number is. Draft plans aside, with their biggest full-time star in Roman Reigns being advertised to work tonight's Raw, a bigger number than normal would open the box to showcasing main superstars on both brands." Now, this follows up with a recent report from the Matman podcast Andrew Zarian that the WWE's partners want the promotion to keep their star power even on both Raw and SmackDown. So how does this fit in with Extreme Rules? Well, the answer is that the WWE could set things up for another crossover this Sunday, a crossover that not only occurs on television, but at its upcoming Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia. Add November's Survivor Series, which has a focus on inter-brand matches over the last few years, and the WWE Universe could see an intense inter-brand rivalry that they haven't seen since the NXT invasion of 2019. Although let's hope it doesn't fizzle out as things did after the Survivor Series and the WWE forgot the entire thing ever happened. And don't be surprised to see the New Day get into a dust-up with the Usos this Sunday, or to see Bobby Lashley attack Roman Reigns, as the Almighty tweeted after Raw that "we aren't even close to done," tagging in Biggie and Roman Reigns. Might the WWE take advantage of Roman Reigns' popularity, which seems to be the reason the Bloodline showed up on this week's Raw, and book the Tribal Chief into a triple threat match at Survivor Series? There's no telling how far the WWE will go in trying to capitalize on Roman Reigns' popularity, particularly if it boosts Raw ratings and helps pay-per-view numbers. Number 3, returns. As always, fans want to know what returns to expect. Last month, SummerSlam saw the return of Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch, and Extreme Rules presents the opportunity for other superstars to return or make a big splash. While there are several potential returns, the WWE might want to wait on them. Sasha Banks remains missing in action, with little information on exactly why the boss has been absent from the Blue brand. But according to Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri, there's some potentially good news. She is medically cleared, it's just creative coming up with something for her. I would love to see her cutting a promo and get interrupted by Tony Storm and have that be a program. Now, we feel that WWE has kept Banks on the back burner in order to focus the spotlight on Becky Lynch following a return at SummerSlam, a return which saw the man turn heel and capture the SmackDown Women's Championship. But now that she's back and enjoying her role as a heel, don't be surprised if Banks returns to the ring, possibly interfering into the Lynch vs Belair match and launching a feud with one or both women. Whether or not Banks works as a face or a heel seems pointless because the WWE has had a bounce back and forth between roles over the last year. But what about Keith Lee? Will he return? The WWE is working on relaunching Keith Lee, with rumours making the rounds that he will return to Raw as a heel. And while this is good news for the Red brand, which could benefit from a top heel opponent for Biggie, it's more likely the WWE will have Lee make his on-air return on Raw, especially since Biggie isn't on the pay-per-view and there's no other match where Lee could turn heel. Number 4, will the Beast barge in? With Brock Lesnar booked to wrestle Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, fans have to wonder if the Beast might barge in during the Head of the Table's Universal Championship defense. While a Lesnar appearance would be a good way to amp up the show, fans shouldn't expect anything like a Lesnar run-in that results in Finn Balor scoring the Universal Championship. If anything, Lesnar will probably wait until after the match and lay out Reigns, building the weight for October's Crown Jewel event. They've done this formula with Lesnar time and time again, and there's no reason to think that Mr. McMahon is changing things up. Number 5. NXT Call-Ups. The WWE has called up several NXT stars in the last few weeks, such as Toni Storm, Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox, but we haven't heard of any more names mentioned for an immediate call-up. Number 7. More matches. As mentioned earlier, Extreme Rules has 6 matches booked already, which has been the WWE's average for pay-per-views besides the company's big 4. While it's surprising to see no WWE Championship defense at this event, there's no sign that WWE plans on having newly crowned champion Big E defend the belt just yet. It's likely the WWE wants to figure out what happens with the draft as it relates to Big E's next challenger. The New Day Strongman will face his first series challenger at Crown Jewel, which takes place on 21st October, while the WWE could have Randy Orton and Riddle defend the Raw Tag Team Championship at Extreme Rules. They haven't built up any serious contenders of late. The WWE could wring more life from the Shinsuke vs Apollo Crews program by having King Shinsuke put on his IC Championship up for grabs against the Nigerian Prince. We could also see newly crowned Women's Tag Team Champions Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley give a rematch to Natalya and Tamina on the pre-show. And finally, a pointless pay-per-view on paper. Now we can't help but feel that there's a lot missing from this year's show. Looking at the card, it seems like a pointless pay-per-view with the number of matches fans could have just easily seen on free television as they might on pay-per-view, and the WWE is putting the slightest of effort in booking matches and giving the fans a reason to care. For example, the only good thing about WWE booking Carmella vs Liv Morgan is that it keeps Eva Marie from polluting the ring on pay-per-view. Regardless of whether Liv Morgan wins or loses, it's unlikely she's getting much of a push. This gets down to more of the lack of stipulations, as there's no match other than Reigns vs the Demon that suggests must-see pay-per-view. In fact, even Finn Balor's adoption of his rarely defeated Demon King persona seems like a desperate attempt to make the Roman Reigns match seem all interesting. As good as the Tribal Chief character has been, his matches have become monotonous. The WWE hasn't helped any by all but broadcasting its intent to keep Reigns undefeated for the near future. There's zero suspense in the outcome of the Reigns match, and the WWE is falling into the same trap it did with its past booking of Brock Lesnar, booking Reigns so strong that he makes the rest of the roster look weak. Fans who watched this week's Raw saw Reigns not winning 1 but 2 matches, including his clean win over Bobby Lashley. Once again, the WWE seems to be treating this pay-per-view like a show it's been booking, but reluctantly so in order to fulfill its obligations to the Peacock streaming service. Now, thankfully, wrestling fans can traditionally count on the WWE's roster to put on excellent matches regardless of the circumstances. That's why there's some hope for Extreme Rules, because while the event looks weak on paper, past pay-per-views have looked bad only to turn out to something special. Let's hope that's the case with Extreme Rules and that the WWE decides to over-deliver. The business model for its events like Extreme Rules are different than AEW's traditional pay-per-view model, but that doesn't mean that the company should phone it in. But there you have it, folks, the most shocking rumours regarding the Extreme Rules. Are you guys looking forward to the event? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.